Hey, what's up, everybody? The Amazing here, bringing you a review of the amazing Yamaguchi Kaiyodo Revoltech Magneto. So, we're just going to call them the Revo Magneto for short. Let's get started into it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take him off the stand because he is back heavy, but I will explain how to work around that. I'm going to leave the stand right there. Secondly, I'm going to fold the arms down. And the reason why I'm talking to you guys about it because some people don't know what to do or how to do it, and I guess visualizing it and seeing it make it a lot easier. So the thing about the Revo joints that I constantly talk about is that you need to be able to play around with joints, learn how to balance and things like that. But considering how back heavy Magneto is, the best thing that I can explain to you is actually you rotate the cape a little forward, as I'm doing here. You want to rotate a little forward to get the best range to balance out Magneto. Now this dial that I have him on is actually a little slanted, so just bear with me as I work around that. But yeah, as you can see, I got him to stand. It took me a little bit, but yeah. The reason why I like showing people that is because it's not impossible. Yeah, Magneto is back heavy, but it's not impossible to balance it out, make him stand. Now, as you clearly can see, he actually looks really, really good. He looks really good here. The figure itself, we're going to talk about right now. So, upon opening it right away, the first thing you need to do when you want to insert his cape on the backhand side is that you absolutely need to heat it up. Now, if you don't heat it up or you don't know how to heat it up, what you can do is you can take some hot water, and with the hot water, you can heat it up to the joints on the inside get soft or whatever, and then you insert the plug pieces. The cape comes in 3 sections, and I'm going to go over this first. The cape comes in 3 sections on his backhand side. You get left, center, and right. But you also get 2 extra peg pieces. And what that is that, let's say you don't like the cape being extra long, you can take actually a cape piece from here and insert it here. They actually give you a lot of options with that. So that's actually really cool. Then under you get the peg piece for his stand. So they give you lots of opportunity to change things around and do things a little differently. And I think that's really cool. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take it out so that way you guys can see what's going on with each piece. I think I'm just going to leave the center one in. So overall, the Magneto looks absolutely stunning. It's almost comic accurate. I think the only thing that they did a little different was stylize the cape around the sides. But that can be based off a different artist rendition. So depending on who's drawing it or what's going on, it doesn't really matter. So let's say like Terry Dodson's drawing it and he wants to draw an extravagant cape. That's what you're going to get here. Now, Magneto looks like he's absolutely in his prime for an old guy. He has a 6-pack going on. He has the best trunks and best belt combo going on. Everything about this is just absolutely great. So articulation-wise, because it's a Revo, you're absolutely going to get the best in terms of articulation. All you got to do is learn to play with joints. And you can clearly see that while manipulating the joints, you can easily do just about any and everything you want. I think the only downside I have to my Magneto is the wobbly toe pivot. That's the only downside to my Magneto, outside of the cape heavy cape. But yeah, articulation wise, I don't have any issues. I know that some people don't like the Revo joints, but they can be hidden very well on the Magneto to the point where you don't have to mind. Also, another thing is that if you heat up the joints on top, you can actually remove the top cape piece. I don't want to remove mine, but you actually can, as you can clearly see here. The only downside that I don't like personally, and this is a preference of mine, I don't like that back here is kind of attached on purpose. It isn't a permanent attach point, and I feel like it takes away from what you could have done with Magneto, but I can see totally why it's needed. It gave you the ability to do the plug pieces for the cape without taking away from the rest of the figure. It didn't take away from his bulk and his look. It's almost like if you just look at the front of him, everything else doesn't even matter because even with the backside, you wouldn't care because he looks so good. Now, like I said, it's one of those things where the backside bothers me, but the more I play with it, the more I'm like, whatever. Because it actually works function-wise great for the character. Even with the arm articulation, like I said, it's on the double joint. So just like with Wolverine or just like with Spider-Man, you have that double range motion, even with Deadpool. And Spider-Gwen, I'm sorry. But all the previous ones, you actually get the double joint. It actually works out well here. And it's hidden really well by the cape. Also, I forgot to point it out. Oh, here it is. If you don't like the double joints on the arms, Kaiyodo actually gives you the 18mm joints to strengthen it and hold it up even better if you feel like it's not holding well enough. The reason why I took off Magneto's head, because I want to talk about it. It looks really good. I know most people like the helmet to point in. So what you can do, guys, is that you can actually you can heat it up with a hairdryer and make it point in, so that way it doesn't point out. It could just be because it's cold and I heated mine up. So yeah, mine's just pointing outward, but you can actually get it to point in. Want to also point out that they give you the piece to move the eyes, because you can actually move Magneto's eyes. Mine's is just stuck in this pose, but you can actually move Magneto's eyes. What you also get with Magneto is an unmasked head. Now, this one is not as strong as the other head. It gives you the, I guess, the grunting slash upset face. It's not as good as the other, but just like the previous one, you can actually remove the head and adjust the eyes. So just like that one. So you can actually swap faces between both of them back and forth. That way you don't have too many issues. The only downside, I think, accessory-wise, is that Magneto only comes with 2 sets of hands. One open and one that absolutely has a really cool feature. But as you can see, you'll get closed fist. You just get 2 of those. What you also get is this really cool magnet effect. Sorry, I was actually really excited to this. I just wanted to jump straight into this part, but I didn't. Now, for this, you absolutely get one really cool, well, you get 2 really cool effects. You actually get this cool magnetic effect to show off the Master of Magnetism's special features. Now, what's really cool about this is that there's actual magnets on it. So you can really do really cool things like this. And it'll hold the figure. But as you can see, it's a little too heavy. And it took the effect and the hand. But I didn't have anything metal in front of me except for one of my tools. But yeah, it actually holds up other things really, really well. So if your Wolverine has metal claws, now is the time to do a really cool shot with that, because you get cool magnet effects with Magneto. And that's one of those things that instantly sold me on the figure. I was like, hey man, you know, it'd be cool if you had magnets. And what did Kaiyodo do? They went and they added magnets. So can't really complain, you know. The double joints allowed for full articulation. You can do tons of other cool things. I just have this evil grinning face on. But you actually can get a lot done with this figure. Like I said, even if you remove the other 2 cape parts, this one right here can still stay, so you can have the one similar cape. It almost gives you promise that you can get a Doctor Doom soon. So for those of you Doctor Doom fans, you need to make sure you hit up Kaiyodo and tell them, hey, we want a Doctor Doom. It's not impossible. You did that. You proved it with, Magneto. Now, size-wise, I believe Magneto's a little bit on the taller side. And I like that, because Magneto seems like a tall guy. He survived the Holocaust and a bunch of other crazy things between the X-Men and everything before the X-Men. So I think it's really cool size-wise that he's on the larger side, especially because the Kaiyodo stuff lately has been more appealing towards the domestic line. Here he is next to a Marvel Legends Daredevil, and that's a 6-inch figure, so it's really cool that he seems a bit taller. Then here we have him against an SH Figure Arts Kamen Rider Kuga, who he pretty much towers over in terms of bulk and size, which is also really cool. Here he is against an Articulated Icons Ninja, which scales somewhere in between those 2. Here he is next to a Mezco Daredevil. And as you can see, he scales really well, kind of with all the lines across the board. Now, just to throw it out there, I'm going to compare him to a old Marvel Legends Sabretooth. Now, even though Sabretooth is really big, Magneto kind of just fits in there with him. And I like that. I like that Kaiyodo kind of gives you the best of all worlds. Even if you didn't have a preference or you didn't know where to go, Magneto sort of just fits in with everything. So I think that's really cool. Now, because most of the time when you think Magneto and how can he beat certain people, the first thing you think is up against Wolverine. So size-wise, Magneto looks terrifyingly towering over Logan. So that's also really good. So for those of you who care about scale, this is perfect for you. For those of you that don't care about scale, you probably were already going to buy him. Magneto is really cool, and even if you don't like the long, crazy cape, you can add a cloth one. There's tons of people out there doing customs one. I think that this figure should certainly be bought in terms of this is why we don't get enough villains, because people don't support cool stuff like that. And even if he is a good guy now in the comics, it's still one of those things where when are you going to get another cool Magneto? At least that's my take on it. But yeah, it's whatever. I've shown you all that I can. I've given you the best review that I can. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the pictures at the end, and I hope you found this informative. In the meantime, guys, be good, do good. Please drink your water. Later.